welcome to this new moon in Cancer reading, which also has a solar eclipse, also has lots of planetary motion. I was doing my weekly readings and the energy was really a common thread there. There was one of transition and change and movement. And after everything being at a standstill for so long, it was nice to see that movement. And because of that, I was compelled to do this new moon reading to see what the energies are, past, present, future. And the past doesn't mean it has to be long ago. It could be yesterday. It could be 10 minutes ago. But the common thread of those videos, if you know your sun, moon, rising, I would say watch all three to try and, if you're having a problem understanding maybe what it is your message is supposed to be this week coming up, and also probably for well into the future. I feel like this read here is a future. The future may go on for months, actually. But the first card that I pulled is a Moonology card of the full moon in Libra. And Libra's all about balance. And this would be the past card. It says a win-win outcome is forecast. But this is about waiting, about getting things in balance, and about things taking time to happen, because it's not always easy to get things balanced, and but it is knowing that everything will be okay eventually, that if you can hold out, things will be okay, and things will move forward, and the cycle will change, and we'll get through this together. And the trust card is really about, it's generally about trusting your intuition, but I feel like with this reading, this trust card is, we have had to, as a society, put our trust in a lot of different things that we normally wouldn't put our trust in our governments, in our healthcare professionals, in ourselves, in our workplaces. We had to trust that things would be okay financially, that we would be okay, our health would be okay. We had to trust that if we were affected in some way by this, that things would eventually work out, that we would get through it, that we would get over it. So that trust card says that we've had to take many, many weeks of our life and had to trust that things eventually will get better. And the next card I got was the Eight of Wands, and that is a card of movement, of generally of quick movement, but it's also a card of a lot of information. It can relate to the internet. I'm thinking about all the Zoom calls and the new ways of learning and communicating, and the TV coverage, the media, a lot of information coming at us at once, trying to decipher all that, trusting that things are going to be okay. And then I pulled on the Lenormand card, and this is the Stork card, and it's about change, but it's messy change. It's not things being easy. There's going to be a shift, there's going to be a change, but it's not going to be an easy one. It's also about pregnancy, things, a new life being born, a new way of life after this. So I feel like this new moon in Cancer with the solar eclipse is going to bring us reflection on what's happened recently, this recent past, and knowing that we've had to trust in things, but ultimately that we have a win-win outcome forecast. And then the next row of cards would be our present. And I love that it starts with the end of a tough cycle approaches. This has been a very tough cycle. This has been difficult for many, many people. This has impacted people all around the world. This is not just a small event that we're going through. It's unlike anything that anyone's really ever lived through before or seen. And this is saying that the end of that is approaching. And that's a really good feeling. There's like a relief there. And it goes right along with my weekly readings in that things are transitioning, shifting, changing. Then we got the flow card, and that's about going with the flow and not resisting the change, not resisting the things that we know we need to do, not resisting the things that we're told to do, which sometimes you naturally want to do that. But the flow card says the more that you paddle against the tide, the harder it's going to be for you to get to where you're going. It says go with the flow, allow things to move, allow things to change. It's not easy. It doesn't mean that you want it. But if you want this tough cycle to end, we have to allow things to go through the process to change. And then there's the Knight of Swords, and that's about action. It's movement into clarity. The swords are about being able to think clearly, being able to express yourself. It's about intelligence. I believe it's about learning. I think that we learned a lot during this. Some of us may have, in this time, learned a lot about ourselves, changed careers, decided that we want to do something completely different, started learning things. There's been universities with free classes that have never been accessible before that people are taking. It's about hooking in with people, finding your tribe, maybe trying new things out via Zoom or Facebook Live or all these different ways of connecting. And the swords are about learning about these things and learning how to communicate, I think, in a new and different way. And then the Lenormand card is the book, and that is also about learning. It's about knowledge. It's about expanding your mind and figuring things out, learning how to do things in a different way, which we all really have done recently. And then the future card, your dreams need a practical plan. So all these things that we're thinking about, dreaming about, wanting to do, we got to put them into motion here. We have to ground them. We have to do something about them. So if you have, during this time, this new moon might compel you to, write down things, start making a plan, research how you can move your idea into action, okay? But whatever it is you want to do, you need to start taking steps so that we can move into fruition with it. And as we move out of this time where a win-win outcome is forecast, we can move into maybe having new dreams take place and activate. Diligence is about the practical plan. It's about doing the work, putting in the physical work, doing the things you need to do to move forward. If you do have a dream, if there is something you've been wanting, do it. Put in the work, take steps, and be diligent in that. The Page of Swords is a very, again, an action card, again, with the intelligence and the communication. The Page of Swords talks a lot, and you might be doing a lot of talking about things, but, you're moving out of this tough cycle. You're moving into fulfilling your dreams, and you're taking the steps, you're making the plans, you're being clear-minded about what you need to do. And that final card, that Lenormand card, is a ring. And that is a ring of commitment. It means that you are committed to doing something, to making a change in your life, to committed to the learning that you've done. And I just believe that this new moon in Cancer with the solar eclipse is going to bring about a lot of change and shift in energy. And it's going to be a positive shift. And it hasn't been easy. And it may not get easy for some time, but it means that things are shifting and moving. So go with the flow, be diligent, trust that things are happening as they're supposed to, and take the things that you've learned from this and make the changes and make the new commitments that you need to so that you can bring your dreams into reality. Really awesome reading. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great week.